Hi, Janelle and Anna, thank you for being here today. I know mediation may not be easy, but it can often make the situation better. Before we start, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Hannah.
Hello, I will be assisting and working with you both during your mediation today. I understand we are here to discuss the topic of Janelle's kids. After talking with Joanne prior to today, it is my understanding that you each feel very differently about the children spending the night at Anna's house. We are here to learn how each of you see the situation. I hope I can be of help with working with you two and that we can leave today with a resolution.
To start, you will each have a turn to talk about your perspective and how it is affecting you. Please listen for anything the other person says that's new to you. Please hold your questions and responses until later. That way, each of you will have a chance to explain your viewpoint. Go ahead and make notes if you want to. Let's try not to accuse each other, but instead just express our concerns. Would you please also tell us what you're hoping to get out of mediation today?
Well, I would like to start and tell you the situation from my point of view. Thank you for allowing me to be here to express my concerns. I just want to start by saying that I am baffled at the fact that you will not let my grandchildren spend the night over with me. I feel as if you don't trust me with your children and you are trying to separate my son and I and me with my grandchildren. I have never seen any of my friends not be allowed to keep their grandchildren, and I feel very left out, especially when they're constantly telling me about how their weekend was with their own grandchildren, and mine was spent alone. When I was growing up, we used to spend weekends, weeks, and sometimes even summers at our grandparents' house, and we loved it. I was a mother too, you know. I know that you got to want to break from those kids at some point. Your husband spends so much time with his grandparents, and I think it'd help him be closer with them in the long run. I don't want to miss out on the bonding time I could be having with them. I don't feel that I am asking for much. I just would like to be as much part of my grandchildren's life as possible.
Thank you for sharing that, Anna. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, then, Janelle, would you please tell us about the situation from your viewpoint?
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. When I was growing up, I spent every day with my mother. I learned, grew, laughed, and loved with her and from her. My mother and I are very close because of it. I still know that I can go to my mother for anything. She raised me and didn't spend hours complaining about needing a break. She made me feel loved and as if she wanted to be part of every up and down that I had. And she was. I want the same for my children. I chose to have children so that I could raise them and so that I could share a bond with them, not so someone else could. I want to make sure that there is no more disrespect being shown or given. I feel that my husband and I have the right to make decisions that we find best for our children, not for somebody else to.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Janelle?
Yes, this is my point. Anna doesn't respect me as her son's wife and the mother of her grandchildren, or as a person. She doesn't respect that her son's wishes, obviously, since he agrees with me, given his relationship with his parents. And while we agree it is a strain on our marriage since he agrees that the kids should be with us, yet he has an endlessly defends our decisions to his mother. She needs to respect our parenting ways and get the time with her grandchildren that we allow because right now she is wasting time she could have fighting with us.
Thank you, Janelle. Now that you've heard Anna's concerns, would you like to respond to that?
Yes. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm being rude or inconsiderate at all. I do respect you. What I think is completely unfair that maybe you don't consider is that you spend way more time with your mother and see her every single week in the kids. Of course, why would your mom care if you get to keep the kids overnight? You see them constantly and are always doing things together. I barely ever get to see them. My son is obviously only siding with you just to please his wife. And all I ever ask is just for some quality time alone with my grandchildren. I don't even feel like I'm a grandparent at all.
Well, it sounds like Anna feels very left out and is afraid her grandchildren won't love her or have good memories of her. She would like more time with her grandchildren to bond and hopes they can stay with her. Janelle, as a mother, you feel like this is now your turn to raise your children and you don't want your kids to think you sent them away because you wanted a break from them. It also sounds like you feel uncomfortable with your kids spending the night with someone else because your own mother never allowed that when you were a child.
This has been really tough for each of you. Now that we have heard how each other feels, let us begin to talk about possible options that each party may be more comfortable with. This is the topic list I have created based on what you both have shared today. One is the kids spending time with the mother-in-law, and the other is spending time alone with the kids is acceptable, and how often and when. Does this sound okay?
Yes, I think those topics cover it.
Great. Let's start with Mom and the topic of the kids spending time with their grandmother. Would you like to make some suggestions of how she can spend time with your children?
Well, I think she could take the kids alone during the day for a few hours once a month or so to places that my husband and I approve of. Maybe we could make a list of acceptable things I could do with them, or that she could do with them, and she could also come over on Wednesdays every other week for dinner to spend time with the family.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Anna, what are your suggestions?
Well, although I do not fully understand the reasons behind not letting my grandkids spend the night with me, I like what Janelle said. It will make me feel very included.
Thank you, Anna. Since it sounds like you both agree with Janelle's suggestions, what suggestions do you have for places Anna can take the kids alone?
I was thinking things along the line of the park, the zoo, the ice cream shop, pizza place for now, things like that.
And Anna, what are your thoughts about what Mom suggested?
I think that's definitely a good start, and I would like that. And I will add that I will keep my options to myself about their parenting choices to be respectful.
Okay, it sounds like we have an agreement. So this is what we have. Janelle can come. Anna can come over for dinner every other Wednesday, and once a month, Janelle may take the kids to either the park, the zoo, out for ice cream, or out for kids. If you would both sign the agreement, we'll be done. Thank you for everyone's respectful participation today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well.